Always great catching up with my next guest, Jasmine Jasudavicius, who's going to be back in action. UFC Edmonton. Where else would she be fighting other than Canada? Taking on Ariane Lipski. Pretty big fight here. Jasmine, how's it going?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing great. It looks like you got like plenty of notice for this fight. I think this was like one of the first fights that was announced. When did you actually find out about it?
Yeah, I think I found out like a couple of weeks before I jumped into camp. Like it was quite a while out before like that I knew it. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I had tons of time.
Yeah, that's nice, obviously. And, we obviously, if it's a Canadian card, they got to have someone like yourself on there. So I'm sure that makes things a bit easier as far as trying to figure out when you'll be fighting again. Let's talk about your last fight. I don't think you got enough credit for this because you had a last minute opponent switch up. Fatima Klein. I know Fatima obviously mainly fighting at 115, but take me through that whole week of getting the new opponent and having to go out there and get the win.
Yeah, so at that point, I was already out in Denver with the team. We went out to kind of get ready and get used to the elevation and all that. So we were out in Denver and I was just like hanging out with the guys and I saw my phone, I looked down and it said a message from Mick and I'm like, oh, that's not.
Oh, just lost you for a second there. Power doing this live, hopefully. Oh, there we go.
There.
Hey,
okay, sorry about that.
No
I
worries,
had it
a
on
call.
Do Not Disturb, but it didn't seem to.
Sometimes it doesn't work. It's all good. We'll roll with the punches here. It's all good. So yeah, you're saying that Mick Maynard texted you at UFC Denver, and then what happened? Tell me the rest of it. Oh, I think someone's trying to call her. This happens sometimes. We'll be back in a second, ladies and gentlemen. Just waiting for her to get connected back on here, which is going to happen when you're doing stuff live. So in the meantime, we're talking right now for people who just tuned in. We're just talking about the fight with Fatima Klein at UFC Denver, which was like a last minute fight for Jasmine. So I always like hearing how this stuff comes together because it was like a last minute opponent, Fatima making her UFC debut. So yeah, we're just Jasmine just having some connection issues right now, but she'll be back on here in a second. Talking to Jasmine Jasudavicius, who's going to be fighting Ariane Lipski. There we go. Got you back.
Sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. I love this stuff. I like rolling with the punches there. But yeah, you were saying Mick Maynard texted you and you're like, uh-oh. And then take me through the rest of it. What happened?
Yeah, so I got the message saying Mick. And then I read the message. It said, we lost... I forget her name. The last girl I was...
Fatima Klein. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we lost Arujo. But we have a new girl coming in, Fatima. And then so I'm just like, okay, sounds good. I'll let my team know. I just went out into the back. They were all kind of hanging out in the backyard at the Airbnb. And then I'm like, all right, guys, here. I just gave them my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna go lay down. You guys figure this out.
Yeah, you guys deal with it. You're my team. Yeah, you work for me. Yeah.
And so I went and tried to take a nap, but obviously my mind's going crazy, everything. Yeah. So then I just like chilled for probably about like half an hour to an hour, tried to take my mind off things, and then came back outside. I like, okay, guys, like what's the game plan? And so they just said, yeah, new girl. She's more of a grappler, but yeah, the kind of game plan stay the same. Let's still take her down and beat her up. And so it wasn't like it was a big thing. It was just kind of like a boop, frustrating, but yeah, everything happens for a reason, and whatever.
And I'm just thinking you might actually see her this week or on your card because she usually corners Erin Blanchfield, right? Who's on your card as well. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like thinking, I'm like, how funny would it be? My opponent pulls out her pull up and me and Blanchfield match up,
Oh no, I just meant she'll probably just be cornering Erin. So I mean, you'll see her at the event, is what I was saying, Fatima, because she's one of Erin's close training partners. But anyways, enough about that. You got the win. That's the important thing. And now you get this big fight with Ariane Lipski. Just how excited were you? Because obviously Ariane's also made a bit of a resurgence here in the weight class.
Yeah, she's like a tough cookie. I'm looking forward to like getting in there and going to work. It's always cool to get a new matchup, and I don't think that she's gonna pull out or anything like that. I from what I've seen, she's gonna make weight and she's gonna show up for the fight. So that's all that I ask for.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. You had the weight miss, or your opponent had the weight miss for the Toronto card earlier this year. I remember that. So that was not fun. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I wanted to ask anyways. I know you briefly trained at American Top Team. I know she has as well. I suppose you guys weren't on the mats at the same time. I know she trained there briefly too.
So there was one time that both of us were there at the same time, and we did do like a little tiny bit of like situation. Right. I don't even remember if it was like live or just technique. So like we've kind of felt each other, but like not really. It's like you can't really gauge on that. And it was like probably 2-3 years ago. So it almost feels like I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. At least you're familiar with her. That's sort of the main thing. We know she's going to strike. I mean, this is a fight I think could be fight of the night with both of your styles. How are you looking at this stylistically? Is it just striker versus striker, or how do you look at this one? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's martial arts, right? So anything can happen. And I think it's a cool matchup. I think exactly what you said, that it definitely could be fight of the night. She's the queen of violence, so I kind of take that as a challenge.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you can take that title. Camp sounds like everything's going really well at Niagara Top Team. Who've been some of the main training partners? Who have you had a chance to work with?
So I have my girls. I have like Alana Cook and Tanya G, all the girls that I normally work with. But then obviously the guys, T-Shay, my main man, that he comes out to like fight week with me. Last time he came, he's coming this time around. He's so helpful. And we've been having like a ton of littler guys coming around because Siri is fighting, Siri City. So he's fighting on the card. He's a 35er. So all the 35er guys are coming out. And so I'm taking advantage of them as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. So yeah, and that happened, I think, on the last card. Well, I remember, Toronto, you had a couple teammates, didn't you, or no? Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Siri was on that card. Yeah, that's right. So
yeah.
So that makes sense. Cool. Weight cut. I know you always make weight, but much better than 115. I'm going to continue to make that joke as long as goes on. But everything going well there?
Yeah, everything's going well. You know, I don't blow up out of camp. I always like stay around the same weight. So it's pretty like, you know, just a little bit of a drop. That's about it.
Yeah. And you like cooking anyway. Some people don't like it. So at least you're like, you know what you're putting in your body, right?
Exactly. Out of camp and in camp, I'm like pretty much eating the same thing, just kind of dialed down a bit.
Yeah, that's great. I found a new healthy recipe. I don't know if you want to hear it, but I always follow like the Instagram accounts of like, you know, like healthier options. So if you take Greek yogurt or grass-fed yogurt, you put some whey protein in that, you put a little maple syrup in that, you throw either blueberries or strawberries in there. It's like a nice dessert you can have that isn't going to be too tough on the system. So
yeah, that's nice. Or you can get frozen bananas and blend that up with it, and it will give it more of like a ice cream consistency.
Oh, well, that's kind of what this is. Sorry, I forgot to mention. You put all this you mix it up, you put it in a bowl, then you put it in the freezer, and then you bring it out and you get these like really cool like ice protein bars. They're really good.
Ooh, that does sound delicious.
So yeah, just a little recommendation out there because I like it. Your corner, Chris Prickett, Matt DeMarc. I always pronounce his last name wrong. Matt, we'll go with that. And then is Jelly coming out, or who's going to be in your corner?
Yep, Jelly's coming out. Both Matt and Chris.
There you go. Keeping it simple. And how's this one playing out on November 2nd? How do you see it going down?
With my hand being raised at the end of the night.
And fight of the night, hopefully. We'll see how that sort of goes. Just wanted to ask about a couple other fights quickly. There's no wrong answers here, just an opinion. Michael Chandler's rematching Charles Oliveira at UFC 309. Who's winning that fight?
Oliveira.
John Jones and Stipe. It's headlining that card. Who's winning the heavyweight title?
John Jones. I'm excited to see him like coming back, see what he's all about now. Like it's been a while since seeing him fight. Yeah,
no, it has. Same with Stipe. It's been at least like 4 years.
Yeah,
and this last one, they announced it. Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat Rakhmonov, big fight in the welterweight division. Who's winning that?
Oh, I think Shavkat.
Okay, there we go. What about you? I mentioned Lipski's sort of made a name for herself in this weight class. Where does a win sort of situate you in the division? Because you're on quite the roll right now.
I'm hoping that, you know, after this win, it just opens up more doors. The higher the number, the better, and I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, No, for sure. We have a new champion in your division, Valentina Shevchenko, defeating Alexa Grasso. Pretty dominant victory. What did you think of her performance? I know we're a few months removed from it.
Yeah, that was cool. I kind of expected it to go that way. But it was cool to see that it did play out kind of what I anticipated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And then it looks like it's going to be, well, we would assume that Manon Fiorot is going to get the next fight there. What do you think about that fight? Two really good strikers.
That's going to be a cool fight. I don't know. We'll see. I can see her, at least taking some rounds off Shevchenko, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be close. And then there's also a thought that maybe she wants to move up to 135 because she has a win over the current champ, Juliana Pena. That might be interesting too.
And she does look like she's pretty bad. I've never seen her in person, but she does look like she could fill out like a 35 frame, no problem. So that would also be an interesting fight.
Well, yeah, she used to fight at 35. Remember, she fought Nunes twice, and then she had she beat Pena. She actually submitted Juliana Pena. This was years ago. But that's why I mentioned maybe she'll move up because she already has a win over her. But
yeah,
go for that double champ status. We'll see. So
we'll
there you
see.
go. Before we get out of here, what's downtime looking like right now? Getting into anything interesting outside of camp or anything like that?
Not really. Just in camp, then home, sleep, eat, camp, like gym, home, sleep, gym, home, sleep. So nothing really in camp. Out of camp, I don't know. I'm thinking after this fight, I might want to go away somewhere. A girl on my team, Danielle Lentini, she's fighting in Indonesia, and so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like really, really cool organization. So I'm like, maybe I go out with her and check it out, and then we'll make a little vacation of it afterwards.
No, it's smart. Take advantage of the flights and everything else. By the way, how's the weather in Niagara right now? Because in Vancouver, it's starting to get a little cold, but it's still hoodie weather, which is great.
It's just starting to change, and every time that I go out in the morning and I feel that first little chill, I think, oh, I wonder what Edmonton's gonna be like if it's getting that nip already.
Yeah. No, it's brutal. I lived in Toronto for like 10 years. Actually, I think I told you, so I went to university in Ottawa, and it's so much colder there than Toronto. I just assumed it was the same, but it's not. It's way colder. So going from growing up in Vancouver to Ottawa was like a huge shock for me because I'm not used to that weather.
Yeah.
So certainly adds up. This fight's going to be awesome. I can't wait. UFC Edmonton, November 2nd. Jazz, thanks so much for doing this. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Just want to thank my teammates and my coaches, and thank you to you and all my fans.
There we go. All right, we are done recording.